Okay, so let's start to add some nice delete functionality to our list. Now, ultimately what we want to be able to do when we run our application and we see this list of feeds here, we want to be able to get rid of them. So if we don't want to follow these feeds anymore, we want to take them off the list, but not only do we want to take them off the table, we also want to delete them from core data. Now, if you've run any sort of decent apps these days, you know that if you get a list view like this or a table view and you kind of swipe over to the left here, you'll expose a button usually, something like delete or update or move or something. So you'll see those types of things in like the Twitter app or your mail app or something along those lines. So we'd like to follow that same kind of paradigm. Now you may think that that's going to take some very complicated UI manipulation and all that kind of stuff, but honestly, it doesn't. And because we're using a UI table view, that's actually kind of built in for us. We just have to expose that functionality. So let's go ahead and stop this right now. So what we're going to do in order to expose that delete button, it's actually extremely simple. Let's just come in here. We'll go under our did receive memory warning. And we're going to start typing in table view so that we can see the built-in functions that are available. And the one that we want to add in here is this commit editing style. So we're going to go ahead and select that one. And we're not going to put any code in here just yet. We're just going to put this particular function overridden into our class. We'll go ahead and save that and we'll run this. And just by adding that particular override, I can now swipe to the left on these and expose a delete button. So isn't that nice? So now I have this delete button, but now I want to be able to do something with it. So if I click it, nothing is happening. So now I actually want to delete something from this. So a lot of this is going to be duplicate code, so actually I'm going to save you the heartache, and I'm just going to paste in a block of code here, two simple methods, two simple functions that are going to take care of this for us. So once again, here is our overridden commit editing style. So what we want to do is we're given this index path. This path is which one that we've selected or that we've hit the delete button on within our list. So we're going to get the particular feed model out of our feeds array based on that index path row, just like we've done previously. I'm going to call a delete feed function, and we'll go over that in just a second, passing in that URL because that's really going to be that kind of unique characteristic or that unique piece of information that's going to identify the feeds within core data. Then once that has successfully completed, we want to remove that particular feed model from our collection because we don't want it to show up anymore. Because remember, ultimately what's going to happen once we delete it from core data, we want to take that feed out of our collection and then remove it from the table. But just removing it from this collection, this array, is not going to remove it from the table. To do that, we're actually going to have to call this method on our table view called reload data. That will then refresh all of the items or the rows that are found within our table view control, UI table view, and then actually remove it from the screen. Now this delete feed is actually fairly straightforward, very similar to what we've done in the past. I just wanted to save you all the typing. So we're going to get our app delegate, get our managed context. We're going to create a fetch request on the feed entity. We're going to create a predicate based on that URL again. Then we're going to execute that fetch request, and we're going to see that I should only get one because I should only be able to insert one record or one object into that core data as a feed entity that has that URL. We have that check in there, remember, when we added in that feed exists function. So if we only have one in there, then we're going to get it out. It's going to be the only one, so it should be the first one. Then we're going to use the delete object method or function found on the managed object. And then ultimately we still have to call save. So once we call save, it's going to finish that removal of that entity from core data. And then like we said before, it's going to remove it from our array and then reload or refresh that data. So let's go ahead and try to use this. So we'll run our application. We now have these two feeds here, and I don't want to see this Xamarin blog anymore, so I'm going to swipe to the left. I see my delete button. I'll hit delete, and poof, it is gone. So just to prove now that it's not there anymore, I'm going to stop debugging. I'll bring up my iPhone simulator again. I'll open up Swift Reader, and I still only get that one feed. So that's very nice. Now I can add feeds and I can remove feeds, but what if I want to refresh them? And what's a common way that you see people refreshing data when it comes to iPhone applications? Well, you're going to have to wait and see that in the next lesson.